we only heard the last donation, I can read them again. That's totally doable. I have $11 from Ariel, who just says woo, and I have $4.30 from Abutu, who says 10 cents per hit. Sorry I kind of broke right now, but I felt obligated to contribute, and anything you give is very much appreciated. All the money is going to benefit the Trevor Project. If you want to find out about them, you can do !charity in the chat. We're gonna go ahead and get Tea Party set up. Let me make sure that the stream is up. Ooh. Stream is up. 62, that's the totals we like to see here.
That is a pretty sweet number.
Y'all ready to go?
I'm ready.
I'm also ready.
Alrighty. Then we'll transition you over. There you go.
Whoops, coughing before you run is not a great idea. Alright, am I good to go?
I do believe Ariel can hear you, so if you want to go ahead and give an introduction and then give a countdown so they can start the timer.
Alright guys, so hey there, I'm teapartycthulu, and this is Pac-Man Championship Edition DX Plus. I will be playing this on PC. We'll be going through single segment all-time trials, which will be, plus DLC levels, I should note that. Should be a real fun category, so yeah, fun fact, this game starts you off on a level. There's some real issues with this game that we might get into the run, but we're gonna start with the canonical first level in the game, Championship 2. So I think we're ready for a countdown. We'll go with Pac-Man both and music, why not? So, we're gonna start this whole shebang in 3, 2, 1, go. So, Pac-Man Championship Edition DX is a 2010 Xbox Live Arcade exclusive original game, released by Namco, of course. And it's a very different take on the Pac-Man logo. It was eventually ported to like PSN, mobile, it's like on iOS, Android. You could probably run it on a freaking toaster, I don't even know. I'm personally playing it on a PC port for a multitude of reasons, really, in that, I mean, one is just convenient, and two, I get keyboard controls, which is going to be really, really interesting in this game, because there's a lot of precise inputs in this game. Oh boy, there's going to be a lot of frame-perfect shenanigans in this game. So, the whole basis of this game, really, is you can see the whole game speed meter at the bottom. That's going to be completely integral to the run. This game is timed in what is basically entirely real time. There's an in-game timer up in the upper left, but it times only the time that you're in the level, but it times it by real time. I know it's kind of weird, but it's the timing system that we use for this game for single segment because it's completely consistent between everything, and it's just it's really, really sweet. So yeah, this game's really crazy and difficult to commentate at times because I need to be watching the entire screen. So again, with that game speed thing, it's going to naturally go off while you're playing. I believe it's entirely a function of score in this game. Well, mostly score, at least. It will naturally go off over game time, but it caps out at 50, which is we will be seeing for most every single level in this entire run. And that's it's really, really nice that it goes up so fast because, again, I said this game is timed entirely in real time. Game speed affects how fast you move, so if you're moving faster, you're going to save time everywhere. Which is really, the entire routing of this game is finding optimal ways to get up to the highest speed possible and not take any speed trade-off. So this game, if you like routing speed games, this game is like a paradise for you. It's a paradise and a nightmare because there's like, the routing never ends in this game. It really is crazy. So you might be thinking first, well, this is a Pac-Man game. There's roaming ghosts. As you can see, they're also functional score. They pop up at certain score barriers, in most levels at least. So what about their patterns? Are they actually like random in this game? And I'm going to tell you the one thing that makes this game, the only thing that makes this game a completely viable speedrun, in that, no, they are not random at all, which is super nice. If you play consistently from the first frame of every single level, they will behave in a consistent manner. which is super, super sweet, and is the one thing that makes this game very, very runnable. And a 2:37 Championship 2. Not a fantastic time, but pretty decent, considering I was not playing at my most optimal. So, let's see, it talked about roaming ghosts. There's a lot of really different mechanics in this game that we need to cover. So, you'll see ghosts kind of standing around on the level. Those are, I don't think they actually have an official name, I just kind of call them standing ghosts. And when you pass them, they essentially get alerted. And then once they connect with your ghost trail, they'll actually follow you in the trail. I don't know what the max number of ghosts there is in the trail. I want to say it's like 30. It does cap out at a certain point. They'll just stop following you. And the ghost trail is actually really, really important for a lot of things in this game. Because one, it's a good source of getting ghosts to eat, because obviously you're not just going to eat roaming ghosts all the time. And two, they can do some really funky AI manipulation strats, which is basically the entire core base of the speedrun. It's just manipulating AI, finding optimal ways to get to high speeds. So also with the level routing, again, not like your traditional Pac-Man game, you need to collect every single pellet on the side of the screen, which includes power pellets as well. And a fruit will spawn. Once the fruit spawns, the other half of the level spawns, and then you continue on your merry way, doing that until you eat every single piece of fruit in the entire level, which some levels do get to be quite long later, so not too long, luckily, hopefully, at least. Oh, that's always a very, very scary part of Highway, because Blinky, I'm a big fighting game player, so I tend to describe everything in fighting game terms, and basically it's kind of an option select right there, if you know about your fighting game terms. Blinky can either go up or down, and there's options that you can do to cover both of them, but they end up being slower, so it's better not to do them, but again, you just kind of need to deal with the randomness in this game. There's, as I said before, there's not much actual randomness. In fact, there's actually pretty much no actual randomness. It's a lot like speedrunning a roguelike game. There's randomness, but it's randomness that you can control, which is probably the best kind, because it makes for a very, very interesting speed game. So one of the great things about this game as a speed game is that the level design is so completely different. Every single level in this game plays just incredibly differently, and they're really, really unique. It may not look like it so much as you're just watching the run, but if you actually do sit down and play the game, like, it gets to be really cool, and you notice how much thought the designers of the game really put into all the levels. Made them all completely different, made them all have... Every single level in this game is routed in a clever way. Here's the most fun part of this. Oh, I messed it up slightly. You can get through this entire thing without eating a ghost and it's better, but it is also incredibly difficult. And a 241 highway, that's actually a fantastic time, which is super cool, by the way. I know, I'm matching some of my best times in this. I wish I could get that in actual runs. Here we move on to Junction. We're just blazing through this game right now, actually. I've gotten some pretty impressive times on Championship 2 and Highway. Don't worry, those will all... That'll come to change in some of the later levels. The levels get, like, brutally hard later. Oh, I missed that. That's not good. But, again, with running this game, this is a game that you need to play for a very, very long time to be able to play it. Because even more so than knowing all the AI manipulation strats, knowing where to turn, is you need to really have a sense for the ghosts and what they're going to do for if you mess stuff up like that. So now that I've kind of screwed that up, my AI manipulation is completely off because I'm just a few frames off. So I kind of need to improvise the rest of this run. So it can get quite hairy, especially on this level. On Junction, it gets especially scary because this level is very, very tight on bomb routing. Because, oh, that's a universal mechanic I forgot to explain. Bombs. So another thing about this game really does try and make itself playable at high speeds. It definitely helps you with a few features. One of them being bombs. Bombs you can see at the upper left, kind of near where the tile, okay, I can't say time for some reason. Time display is, near the upper left near Y for some reason there's a pause symbol. You get a set number of bombs to start each level. It's anywhere between, I think, 2 and 5, maybe 6, I don't know. You get so many bombs in this game that they're just useful. Bombs will instantly destroy all ghosts on the field that are alerted, at least, not just standing ones. and they'll send them back to start. They'll immediately start following you again. It also sadly lowers the game speed by 1. So that's another kind of part of the run that you really need to kind of route out and make sure you're not kind of spamming bombs too much, because otherwise you're just going to lower your game speed and get a worse time. And whoops, I did not mean to eat that power pellet. That can make the end of this level real hairy. We're just gonna have to do this on the fly then. There's a lot of really odd routing on the fly that tends to happen in this game. Like that. That was a big brain strategy. This is what it gets like. When you mess up your strats, it just becomes so hard to commentate, because it's just, you're so nervous throughout the entire run. Yeah, see, we talked about bombs. Oh, there's also Ghost Slowdown. If you're about to run, at least from the front, we'll cover that right after this. As you can see right there, the game will actually slow down slightly. It makes it so it's a very, very playable at high speeds like that, to where if you're about to run into a ghost, it'll just feel like, hey, you're about to do that. You probably don't want to do that. So it'll slow down, give you a chance to adjust. That is abused in a few parts of the run. One for AI manipulation, that slows down the game speed perfectly, and there are strats that are that tight that it depends on like that specific amount of routing. And we got a 302 junction, which is not great, but I mean, it's doable. I've gotten worse in actual runs. And we move on to Spiral. So yeah, also I should talk about dying, which hopefully will not happen in this run, but I mean, it definitely could. There's a lot of ways this game can kind of just randomly kill you. One of the ways, I meant to talk about this a second ago, with the ghost slowdown, it only applies if ghosts are running into you from the front. If you run into a ghost from behind, or if a ghost trail like expands into you, you'll just instantly die. Or if a ghost is coming out of the starting area, if it lands on top of you, which happens more often than not. But yeah, how punishing are deaths in this game? Deaths will instantly lower the game speed by 10. It will reset your bomb count as well. So they're fairly punishing, but actually not as much as you may think. Oh, if you prefer the classic Pac-Man formula, don't worry, there's a level for you in this game. And it is the worst level in this game by far. Definitely the hardest one, the one where the game can just be like, hey, you lose 30 seconds, even though you played amazingly. Yeah, I should talk about one of the other features that makes this game really, really playable at high speeds is that you can buffer almost every single action in this game. So buffering, buffering refers to, if you don't know about this piece of tech, that's pretty common to a lot of games. You can input an action before the frame it's actually about to happen, in which case it'll come out on the first possible frame. You can do that with a lot of things in this game, actually. You can do that with turning. You can do it somewhat with using bombs. It depends on the action for using bombs. You can do it for turning around while after eating ghosts. It's really, really useful in this game because it allows you to do things really just completely frame per frame. Yeah, deaths are punishing, but not like ridiculously punishing where I mean, you probably would just reset if you died, but not all the time. You wouldn't lose that much time, really. It really just depends on level. Like on Half, if I died on one of the levels later in the one named Half, which is probably the most execution-heavy run of the entire game, I probably wouldn't reset, just because it happens. I've had PBs before where I died 7 times. And a 219 Spiral, which is a fantastic time. As you can see, my best is a 218, which I believe might be actually community best between the single segment runners and folks who don't want to do Ghost Combo. Ghost Combo is a stupid mode. You can see, because it's the one mode I haven't actually put time in. So now we have Manhattan. If you do like the creative routing in this game, this level is a parrot for you. Because this level is taken care of in a very, very creative way. I'll give it that. Because normally the game likes to hide a lot of the kind of like puzzles in its level design by you have to clear out a certain set of standing ghosts, and then it kind of opens up a path that you can take later. But the key thing is, remember how I said earlier that bombs can clear any alerted ghost? That includes standing ghosts that you pass by. So we're going to use that to our fullest advantage in this level. And, oh, whoops, still make this? You can. Those turns are pretty tight. We'll get even tighter turns later, which will be real fun if we miss them. So yeah, this level is taken care of in a lot of really interesting ways, which kind of highlights just how crazy some of the routing is in this game, where like it's really no level in this game is really taken care of in a manner that you would expect. And whoops, you can see, okay, that's one of the other limitations of Go Slow Down I didn't mention, is that it does not happen when you are crossing screen boundaries, which sadly, as lowers game speed, is going to make this routing even tighter, because as you can see, the whole interesting part of it starts right here. We're going to use all these ghosts with power pellets inside of them, which activate whenever you eat them. We're going to go through this entire section where you're meant to use the standing ghost to kind of make a path for yourself, and we're going to use that to just go through the entire thing without needing to do that at all. Some parts of it are definitely very tight, like this. You actually can't make that, so you burn a bomb to go through it, which it's completely worth it. So it saves so much time. I don't know how much, because I've actually never ran the level without that, but it could definitely be upwards of like 20 seconds. So yeah, as I said before, dying is just something that happens. So having it happen on this level, I mean, I'm not going to get that great of a time now, but it's not too punishing to the point where I would just reset instantly. Luckily, we can skip all these ghosts right here because we're not going for score attack. Score attack is actually another pretty common thing that's on this game. So you can see, I got a 237. I only like 9 seconds off my best, even though I died. And my best is actually pretty good in Manhattan. Alright, move on to Dungeon, which is probably the most straightforward level. So yeah, I should say more about actually the single segment community of this game. So this game has had kind of a story, well, not really a story, but it's had kind of an IL scene. There's a page on speedrun.com for this game. I believe it's /PMCDX, I think. I'm pretty sure it's what it might be Pac-Man CEDX. But you can see there's a lot of IL runs for this game, a ton, because the game also divides its time trials into short time trials where it just takes a little chunk from the level. It says, hey, speedrun this, and they're like, some of them are like 10 seconds long, but a lot of people actually run those. It's fairly popular, at least a lot more so than single segment. And then somebody, I don't know, some dude named teapartycthulu or something was just like, hey, what if we run this game single segment and combine all the time trials? And then I posted it to speedruns.com, and by the way, if you thought that was scary looking, that's guaranteed every time. So it's one of my favorite parts of this run. Yeah, some wise guy named teapartycthulu was just like, hey, let's run this game single segment. And then I submitted it to SRC leaderboards, and people there were like, hey, that's a good idea, actually. So then people actually started to like run this game single segment, and like it kind of took off from there. I was the original runner, my runs weren't that good, but then Chelnia kind of picked up the game and like really cleaned up the runs. He had a fairly impressive time. It was like a low 30. It was either a low or a mid 33, which back when this game first started single segment running, that was super impressive. And it took me a long time until I actually beat that record, which I held the record for a very short time. And then a few other people picked up the game, Wizard, and Pinball Wizard, you might know, I believe he will be running Pac-Man Championship Edition 2 in HEQ. I believe he is. He's amazing at this game. He picked up the game and he kind of destroyed it. And then F Symbols picked up the game and has absolutely destroyed it. The current world record is by F Symbols. He has like a high 31. He has like 31:53 or something, which is an amazing time. It took me a long time before sum of best down below that. A lot of people don't even have that time segmented. So that was also a really good dungeon, by the way. So here we go, Championship 1. For that one person in the chat who was saying that you like traditional Pac-Man, this is the level for you, which is also the worst level in the game. Championship 1, there are no standing ghosts in this level, it is just roaming ghosts. And for some reason, their AI is particularly aggressive. There are AI manipulation strats at the beginning here, but the chances that you're gonna execute the full thing is like, you're not. It's just so hard. This is unquestionably the hardest level in the run, not execution-wise, but just awareness-wise. You have to really know the entire game. I should also note this is nearing the end of the Nogi game. We just have this and one other level coming up, half, which is actually the longest level in the run. Oh, also the greatest part about this level, which also applies for half, is that well, one, only in this level, it seems like the ghost AI is a lot more aggressive, like a ton more aggressive. The ghost will just fly at your face, basically, and be like, hey, now you're gonna die. And also, you get limited bombs. None of the roaming ghosts ever spawn with bombs in this game, and they're the only ghosts in this level, so you're not getting any bombs. So if you mess up, you better hope that you have bombs left, or you better find a creative way to get out of it. So yeah, this level is really terrible because this level can kind of just be like, hey, you just lose 30 seconds, even though you played very well. This is definitely the most run killer of all the levels, but when played well, it's a masterpiece. Like, watching F-Symbols play this level is just, like, astounding. The roaming ghosts are not random at all. If you take a consistent path to this level, they will always move the exact same way, but it is very difficult because a lot of the turnarounds you have to do are actually, like, frame perfect, which we will be getting to even more crazy frame perfect strats later, in the DLC levels especially. There's a lot of them in the DLC levels. There's a lot of real funky manipulation, so it's like, oh, wait exactly 2 frames on this wall. And almost got it. Yeah, again, I kind of expected to die on this level. I should also note there's a funky glitch in the game. And honestly, I don't know how the testers didn't catch this in test playing. But if you die and use a bomb near when you die, it doesn't even have to be, it's not even that tight of a frame window, really. You can actually cancel your death animation and continue moving. You still have all the effects of the death, so all your bombs get, ooh, excuse me. All your bombs get reset, the game speed goes down by 10, but you just don't get the pause that happens. Also, another reason why this game is a fighting game, the ghosts have Okuzeme traps, as you can see right there. They can kind of just screw you over when you're when you respawn them. Can get really, really annoying because you can get into loops where you're just stuck having to use bombs. Yeah, this level is real nasty. It is unquestionably the hardest level in the game. So you see, I got a 309, even though I played fairly alright, really. But, I mean, you can just lose 20 seconds just because the game decided to. Now we're on to the last non-DLC level, which is half, which this is the hardest level execution-wise. There's a lot of real funky strats, a lot of real difficult turnarounds, like this one at the beginning. Last time I streamed this game, I actually died to that, and I instantly shut off stream because I was so annoyed. And a lot of that. You'll see a lot of that, I don't know if kind of tight. I tap right for like a few frames and immediately tap left. I kind of, again, if familiar with fighting games, I kind of plink between both of them. So it's like very short frame window. So yeah, this level is also super nasty because, as the name implies, only half the level is ever spawned. So you have to find very creative ways to get through exactly half of this, and you can't really clear both parts of the level at the same time. There are a lot of really clever routes through here, which I'll be attempting to show one of them. It's fairly tough. Also, that looks super tight, because if your power pellet timer runs out and you're eating a ghost, you will instantly die, which happens more often than not in this game. So you'll also see me running kind of back into my ghost trail on this level, and that is actually because if I kind of move too far away from them, the ghosts all take the shortest path to get back to Pac-Man. I'm sure I said all that right. Also, here's that other bit of routing I talked about earlier. Where we use this, respawn on the other side, get a power pellet, eat through these to clear path, except it's also super tight, and I actually did get it, so strat saves a ton of time if you get it correctly. But it's also very difficult and kind of random. Because the chances that you actually hit the frame window it's real tight. It's a lot tighter than it looks. Frankly, I'm amazed that F symbols can do it so well. So yeah, you'll see me running back into Ghost because, as I said, the Ghosts always take the shortest path to Pac-Man, which is not always the most convenient path for him. Sometimes they'll just run straight into his face and kind of mess up what you're trying to go for, which can really ruin a run, because as I said earlier, if you're running into the front of a Ghost, but your Ghost trail, if you look at the end of it, it kind of expands and contracts when it wants to, so if it expands and you're hitting the back of it, you just die instantly. That's kind of the moral of this game, you just die sometimes, because the game's like, oh haha, good one. You're trying to go fast? I don't think so. So yeah, you'll see me do a lot of awkward pausing where it... Oh, whoops. Yeah, you'll see me do a lot of awkward pausing where it doesn't look like I should be. Like even there, if I mess that up, I'll just die instantly. Yeah, dying is usually something that only happens once, but I mean in this game, the game could just be like, haha, no. Oh, also, alright, got that. It's actually really super tight, and it's like the most meaningless time save in this whole game, but you can get through that entire thing without eating a single ghost. Because as you can see, we're at 50 speed right now, so there's no sense in eating ghosts. Like, we're not gonna gain anything off of it. So this level also looks super tight with a lot of the spacing, but luckily it's also planned perfectly so that all the kind of rectangles that the level geometry naturally makes is exactly large enough that a max length ghost chain will just be able to move straight through. Let's see, we're coming up near the end of half and we actually have a fairly good time. So good that I can actually do this. I almost actually got a new goal there, but I kind of messed up the ending there. 438, fun fact, in practice right before this run, I got a 438. I think I actually might have tied it down to the frame. So that's all the no DLC levels in this game. I have no clue what my time was, but I'm going to say it was pretty good because I got a 438 now. So now we start the 4 DLC levels, which are also some of the hardest levels in this game. They're definitely a hard gauntlet levels, which is funny because we actually start with probably the easiest level in this entire game, Mountain. Mountain is definitely the most consistent. You see up there in the corner, best time 150-171. Probably gonna get a 151, hopefully, unless you mess anything up, which there are some hard execution stuff in this level, but it is very, very consistent. Oh yeah, probably gave you a heart attack by saying, haha, no DLC levels are gone. Yeah, so now we get into the DLC levels, where you do... yes, that's definitely how you say that. Which you definitely get to see a lot of the really clever level design that the developers put in this game. The developers really put a lot of heart in this game. You can definitely see they intended this game to be played fast and at a very high level. Oh, whoops, that's not good. That's going to throw off a lot of AI manipulation here, so we will probably not get a 151 now. It will probably be a 152, but... Oh, that's even worse. Alright, we might have missed the 152, but that's fine. I mean, really, it's do or die on the next level. So yeah, this level is also really annoying because it's just constantly pressing right and up, which is really awkward to do, actually, when you have to do it over and over and over again. This level is probably one of the more boring ones of the run, sadly. Just because it's really, really straightforward and, frankly, the easiest one, but I mean, it happens. You can't have every level be a complete banger like all the other ones. And, well, 154, but, you know, it's alright. It happens sometimes. So now we move on to everybody's favorite level, and actually the one, so even more than Championship 1, is Big Eater. This level's horrendously awful, because there's a ton of ghosts everywhere, the game speed starts at 10, and it is incredibly hard to get a good time on this level. For the longest time, I was consistently getting near 240s on this level every time, until I recently rerouted. I can actually get decent times now. But now with the reroute, it also makes it significantly harder. You need to hit that, which is a very tricky delay. Again, I wish I could commentate this game so much better, but there's just so much tech to it that you really need to play the game to understand. I hope you guys are enjoying this run though, because it's definitely a really creatively made game, a really interesting take on the Pac-Man formula, and just a genuinely fun game. And that almost killed me right there. Also, you get very limited bombs on this level, which is really fun because this level is incredibly tight with bomb power. Because that's our last one that we have right now. But luckily, we get some more. Which is integral to this run. And I missed. I tried to do something fancy there, but I mean, the moral of this game, besides you just sometimes die, is no. Or I guess haha no is a better example of it, and I completely missed that. That's really bad, actually. Completely whiffing a bomb is definitely one of the most terrible feelings in this entire game. Yeah, this game was definitely designed to be very watchable. It's fast, it's colorful, the music's great. It looks impressive. Just because there's like everything going along, but it's kind of like the Batman Arkham games, how it feels to play those games, where it makes you really feel like movie Batman, where you walk into a room and you know exactly what's going to happen in the fight. Which, I mean, Pac-Man's almost like Batman, so it makes sense. And there we go. If your power pellet, yeah, that's how you say that word. If your power pellet runs out when you're eating a ghost, you just die. Again, the moral of this game is sometimes you just die. And I cannot press down, apparently, for the life of me in this run. And I don't have any bombs left, so that's really bad. So now I'm gonna have to do this on the fly and hope that the ghosts play nice with me. And luckily they did. It's gonna be a terrible Big Eater time, but I mean, it just happens in this game. Especially with Big Eater. Big Eater is the most horrendously inconsistent level in this game. And I'm dead, so I'll take the death. Old Pac-Man game you used to play if it was on PS1, PS2, you're probably thinking of Pac-Man, which is also a fantastic game. So I got a 312 Big Eater, which is, I mean, terrible, but again, the moral of this game, the two morals of this game are no, and sometimes you just die. So now we go on to also one of the hardest execution-based level in the game, which starts right at the beginning, so... Championship 3. If you see the crazy turns I'm doing right here, those are actually AI manipulation. I have to hit them within a very specific frame window, and if I do, I save 20 seconds. If I don't, well, bye-bye. And it gets a lot harder. I'm not sure. It also depends on stuff later in the level, but definitely one of the trickiest levels. I used to actually like this level, but now I hate it. I used to like this level until randomly in runs I would just lose seconds from missing like 2 1-frame turns, and that's real bad that I hit that power pellet on accident. So now all AI manipulation's off, so now a ghost can literally if they want to, and I can't do anything about it. There's gonna be a lot of real fast turns in this level that make it real fun. Luckily, this level just kind of hands bombs to you, which is the only. Curiously, it's the only level in the entire game that does that. And whoops. Luckily, we get a second shot at these. They save a minuscule amount of time, but they're really there for the AI And I missed all of them, so awesome. Again, this does not bode well for this level, but again, moral of this game is no. So I'm gonna eat them right now because they could cause some real troubles in the next section if they decide to just not play nice. Oh yeah, I should also know it. I didn't know, or I didn't know this. No, I didn't know this. I would hope I know this. I'm playing this game so much. Is that the roaming ghosts? If you pass them, they become alerted, and just like standing ghosts, basically. And wow, I'm amazed. The ghosts are actually starting to kind of play nice. You get to hear my loud clacky keyboard because of how I do weird inputs in this game.
Hearing the keyboard is so soothing while watching you do this because I'm like, oh, I can hear what's going on as you're doing it.
Yeah, this is the only game on my entire play on for, and it's so funny looking sometimes. It's just see me like hitting so many keys a second, doing like weird like fuzzy input stuff. I'm telling you, this game is my favorite fighting game. Besides Under Night. And again, you can see I played that level fairly well. But you just get a 320 because you missed the AI manipulation. It happens. And so now we're actually on to the last level in the entire run. Also gonna be one of the most impressive looking if it goes well, but it has one of the hardest AI manipulation strats in the game, where you have to wait exactly 2 frames on a wall and then make almost frame perfect turn later in the level, but I've gotten pretty consistent at it. Luckily. This level looks super impressive when done at max speed, so I really hope I can close the run out on a good note. I hope everybody's enjoyed this run. I've definitely enjoyed putting it together kind of from scratch, from the start, and it's a real joy of a game to play. It's a game to watch. I highly recommend that you pick up this game. It's $10 on pretty much every platform, except mobile. Don't play it on mobile. It's only $10. It's like $6.99 for the DLC, which DLC levels 100% worth it. If anything, just play it for the music. Like, this game's soundtrack is fantastic. Which, I mean, I based on how I have audio set up on stream, I can't hear it right now, but oh well. I've played enough of this game to know what the music sounds like.
I remember hearing the music in your submission, and now I'm just like missing out on it because I don't want to hear an echo.
Okay, I missed the AI manipulation strat, so this is gonna be really, really scary. Remember how earlier in the run, how I got killed by a ghost roaming from one side of the screen to the other? That can happen now, and this level moves so fast that it can be really hard to keep track of, so I need to keep track of every single roaming ghost position on the screen and use a bomb if I really, really need to. Not to mention, there's gonna be a lot of random slowdown from a ghost just running into my face, so also I knew I could make that. That also looks super scary, but again, it's guaranteed every time. Easy every time, basically. Not really. Yeah, this level is definitely one of the most impressive looking. Sadly, it's not one of the most interesting to run, because one, if you don't get the strat, like, it's just scary, and if you do, it's not one of the more creatively routed levels, but it's a super impressive looking level, and we're at the very end. So time will be now. And 2:15 Highway 2, which is, you know, all right, but that was a fairly impressive run. I'm amazed that I got that. But that might have actually been a PB for no DLC. So yeah, that was Pac-Man Championship Edition DX. Single segment all-time trials. I hope you guys enjoyed the run. I hope you guys keep enjoying Power Up with Pride Winter 2018. Awesome marathon. Really cool runs coming up. Donkey Country 3, I believe, is next, which is a sick game and a sick run. So you guys should stay tuned for that. The greatest feeling after that run is just exhale.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
the most stressful game.